How's it going, everyone? It's me, MOTFGames, and we're back with another Storybook Brawl video today. Today I wanted to go over a comp that I've noticed some people can have struggled running with, and I feel like it is a interesting one to make sure that you can at least know how to pilot correctly. And that comp is going to be, as we can see here, Royals, aka Prince and Princesses. Just a really solid comp that can find decent direction kind of in the mid game and then scale into the late. It is almost never a lot like Dwarves, the best comp to play, but if you can hit it early enough, they really do end up scaling into a way that a lot of other comps just can't compete with. So real fast, we'll start with the main units rather than, wasting a lot of time as we normally do. Cinderella, 2-cost princess. She does have a quest, which is to cast 4 spells. These quests are going to be the first thing that's going to help you kind of get direction with picking this up. So she's not a bad pickup if you're trying to force royals, but to be honest, I wouldn't pick up Cinderella just to like trigger her quest in the early game. I would kind of see if maybe you have other units that can support casting these spells, or maybe you have something like a Lonely Prince in the shop and then a potion to put on Lonely Prince, so you could buy the Lonely Prince, turn 1, block, pick up Cinderella, use the abilities. 2-cost treasures really aren't that great at the end of the day, but having upgraded royals is always nice for this comp, regarding Prince Arthur, who we'll go over later. Lonely Prince, as we mentioned already, turns into a 5/5 whenever you buy a princess, so keep in mind something like Eeny Meeny won't trigger this. Just very solid tempo unit in the early game, so often enough what you'll end up doing is just picking up like Lonely Prince and then other princesses from the shop to trigger Lonely Prince, and he will be the main unit that's going to carry you to level 4, along with other things. But it's like 5/5 worth of stats for 2 gold. You really can't beat that in a lot of situations. Sherwood Sure Shot, 2/1 with ranged. Now, this is like an alright unit. You'll see this picked up by a lot of people. Range is obviously pretty nice because you can put it in slot 1, maybe 2 for 1. You could put it in slot 4, or slot 5, I mean bottom left, if you have enough units, and I mean even if you don't, and you can maybe get a 2 for 1 that way as well. So it's like being able to attack something and not take damage back is always really nice. And with the right setup, you can get a lot of value out of this. But to be honest, this is not a unit that normally sticks onto your board long term, regardless, because it's like, it is just a 2/1 worth of stats. It has no other abilities. It does not scale on its own. So there's a lot of setup to making sure it would work. So normally this is something you'll pick up, kind of throw away later. Brave Princess. Brave Princess is, in my opinion, kind of one of the more flexible units in this, as you can just pick her up, play her, trigger her quest, and from there you could either decide to hold on to it or you could just throw it away if you decide that maybe the outlook of this makes princesses not really viable for you. There are some pretty solid level 3 treasures, but my biggest issue with Brave Princess half the time is that just getting her to slay is very difficult. At 5 power, by the time that you're looking to kill 3 things, people are starting to scale up their units. She'll need a lot of setup to make consistent. Now, there are other things you can do, like Lost Soul, but honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, pick it up, kind of see if you can make it work in 3 or 4 turns, and if you can't, then you just need to make sure you move on. Princess Peep normally is not considered to be part of the princess package, but she is a princess, so if you can make it work, then you might as well stick with it. But to be honest, this is normally part of the animal package. I would maybe pick this up for the mid game, but eventually you're going to swap her out for another princess in this kind of shell. But this is a good unit that you can pick up to play in the mid game and leave yourself open for other directions, because you can either decide to commit to princes, or commit to royals, or you can pivot off to animal summons with like Versteins and things. Princess White, part of the dwarf package, but there have been situations before where I've bought Princess White early, triggered her, got her to flip, and then pivoted into princes because the direction just felt better for me. Something I've been doing a lot lately is playing Luckies on princess, like in early boards, which can help Princess White trigger to get a free treasure, while Luckies give me more buying power from the shops and not keeping my board super weak. So keep that in mind, that you can make use of this, but again, this is part of the dwarf package, so you're probably not going to be using it 9 times out of 10. Romeo, now we're starting to get into some of the more key components for this kind of comp. Romeo, last breath, if Juliet is dead, as in she has died this round, summon her and give her +7/+7 this brawl. Really strong unit, keeping in mind that Juliet is just a generic 4-cost 7/7, so it's like she has no ability, but you know, Romeo, if she dies first and then Romeo dies, she'll come back as a 14/14, and that's without buffs. Keep in mind that the respawn does keep its prior buffs, not supports, but like any kind of lasting buffs on the unit, which is very important, because what you could do is you can set up Juliet's in the front to make sure they die. You can have it scaled up, and then when Romeo dies and brings it back, you can just get a lot of value out of this. Multiple Romeos will trigger. You only need one Juliet, so it's like this is a core key component to making sure that this kind of comp can work. Sleeping Princess 08. This is kind of in the same bucket as Lonely Prince was, where it's kind of this like you need to trigger it to gain value from it, but it's a really solid tempo card. If you find Sleeping Princess with the spell that you can just cast on it real fast, 8/8 worth of stats is really nice early in the game, so don't slack on this. But also, like this, it is just a tempo card. Very rarely does it make it into in-game comps, but it is kind of possible. We already talked about Juliet, so we're going to move on to Prince Arthur. This is the next thing that enables princes and princesses to be a full-blown scaling comp. So Prince Arthur, at the start of each brawl, aka the start of combat, give your upgraded prince and princesses +2/+2 permanently. So this is where the quest mechanic really starts to come into play. This, when you complete the quest, the unit gets upgraded, and then it allows it to start scaling with Prince Arthur. If you have an upgraded Juliet, she will get these bonuses, and then when Romeo revives her, she will maintain those bonuses. So you will consistently and constantly scale this comp. If you can get multiple Prince Arthurs onto the board on a fully upgraded board, you will be getting massive buffs, right? Prince Arthur, when upgraded, gives +4/+4 to everything, including himself. So you can easily just hit the point where you're gaining like over 30 points worth of stats if you have 2 points of, or 2 Prince Arthurs. Princess P, pretty solid princess, but doesn't fit the shell completely well. She does get +4/+4 for each character supporting her. She could be a really good mid-game unit if you were using, let's say you were playing Brave Princess early, using supports to make sure she could actually proc and slay things consistently. Once she evolves, you can move her off to the side away from the supports and throw Princess P into place while you wait to pivot out those backline units. Decent unit. Feel free to pick it up, obviously, if you can upgrade it. It's okay as long as you can get the next unit to go along with it and upgrade it as well, which is Riverwish Mermaid. Riverwish Mermaid, the only support princess in the package. Give characters in front of me slay +1/+1 permanently, so obviously just another way to scale your prince and princesses. Not really key for the comp. This isn't something you're going to particularly dig for because your backline will normally be Romeos, but Riverwish Mermaid, if you do hit it, can be a very good unit, so do not sleep on this card. Really solid, especially considering some of the other things we can do with treasures later. Nutcracker, the last of the quest pack, well, not the last, but one more of the quest package. At 4, if he survives damage 4 times, triggers a quest. This is much more doable compared to Brave Princess, where Brave Princess has to get the last hit. Nutcracker can be hit, and just all he has to do is survive. This works with spells, this works with any source of actual damage onto the unit. So you can trigger this in like 1 round, 2 even. 3 is normally about where it seems to go, but of course 4 and then beyond, if you cannot keep his health up, is very possible. But so yeah, make sure you're picking up your Nutcrackers, because getting this to trigger so that you can just start working on that fully upgraded board, this is the easiest of the quests to trigger in my opinion. So it's like, it's just free. Lancelot at 5, slay +2/+2 permanently, so really solid already off the bat. And then it has the quest, if I have at least 25 attack or health during a brawl, it triggers. You can do this in a variety of ways. You can use spells to make him hit that. You can use supports. There's other cards that there's other supporting units we'll talk about later that can help you trigger this Lancelot. And the sooner you trigger this Lancelot, the better, because Lancelot is the best position 1 unit in my opinion for this kind of comp. Juliet, of course, second contender, but Juliet's really there because you want her to die, so you want her taking as much damage as possible as soon as possible before your Romeos get picked apart. But Lancelot, if you can get him to slay, you just continue that scaling, getting it further and further in until eventually Lancelot's just too big to fail. Hercules. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Hercules is bait. So his quest is ideal 100 damage. Let's say you just find Hercules naturally in the shop. By the time by the point of game where you're going to find this in the shop, it's too late to throw in a quest unit. A lot of that has to do with the fact that it's 2020 worth of stats. Your other units will likely be scaled up if you're looking to play this kind of comp. And lastly, the 6 cost treasures aren't that amazing for this board. 5 cost treasures are actually much better in my opinion for this comp. So it's like, you're normally going to ignore Hercules. Do not fall for this bait on this comp. There are other comps that will pick up Hercules specifically to get the treasure. Normally that's why you'd get him, but there's just better options for us, like Lancelot. Going over some other supporting units. First off, we have Court Wizard. Court Wizard is the main one that people think of when you think of royals. He's 4/2, 4 cost, ranged. When one of your prince or princesses is attacked and killed, as in they are attacked, they cannot be the one attacking, he makes a bonus attack. Now, 4/2 worth of stats, that's not really that great, and he doesn't scale with Lancelot, but if you can find ways to give this unit attack through any kind of mean permanently and scale him up, he's actually a monster. Court Wizard on the right board setup with like multiple Romeos will actually be able to just dismantle entire boards, and if you can find a way to scale him well, this will be one of the best units for the comp. So keep that in mind. Not necessary though, you do not have to play Court Wizard. It is more so one of those things where it's like, if you can make it work, it's great. And then lastly, one of my favorites, Fairy Godmother. Fairy Godmother is a unit that you're going to use in the early game to help shoehorn, basically triggering a lot of your quests and then making sure your board strength is actually up to par until you're able to actually start scaling. So Fairy Godmother, 4 cost, 3/3. When one of your good characters dies, give your good characters +3 health this brawl. This can stack up very fast, and considering something like Nutcracker, who needs a lot of HP to make sure you can trigger, or Lancelot, who needs to hit 25 attack or HP in a fight, she's really solid at being able to pick those up. So you can combine Fairy Godmother with something like Princess Peep and get a lot of health onto your board very quickly, to just help you kind of trigger those things. So those are the 2 main units I would say to support this. The rest, any other units of course are fine, but those are the main units that I would say you want to be playing in this kind of comp to make them work. And just make sure that you're keeping in mind that the 4 cost section is like very important for us. That's where we hit Juliet, that's where we hit Prince Arthur, that's where we hit our Nutcracker, what's his name, our Court Wizard, and of course that's where we also hit our Fairy Godmother. So like 4 costs is where this comp really starts digging for its things and where you'll really find direction on what to play this. The best time to pivot to this comp in my opinion is, let's say you picked up your Brave Princess, you're not really committed to the comp, but if you can get the Slay, maybe. It's just, if you have like these upgraded princesses or like any upgraded prince and you find Prince Arthur's, that's a good direction obviously to go, but you can't really commit until you find Prince Arthur or you find the Romeo and the Juliet pair. If you can find the Romeo and Juliet pair, preferably 2 Romeos, 1 Juliet, or 2 Juliets, so that you can upgrade it. The sooner you upgrade Juliet, the better. And then you want to have 2 Romeos. Upgrading Romeo can be bait, but you know, upgrading your Romeo does eventually allow you to find the second Romeo to put back onto the board. That's the main thing you need to keep in mind. You want, if you're doing this concept, you want multiple Romeos. So it's like, just make sure that you're keeping that in mind. But those are the 2 directions that I would say to keep an eye out for, to know when you should be looking to play Prince and Princesses. Now, lastly, before moving on, we're going to start talking about treasures, right? Or I guess this is moving on. Honestly, there are 2 royal specific treasures. Redupe is not royal specific, but this has great synergy with Romeo and Juliet. So if you're playing the Romeo and Juliet concept, you need to be playing Reduplicator. It will summon a second Juliet and it will copy all of the buffs. It is insanely good. This is one of the key things that you'll be digging for, so that you can try to get this. Which is why I say like hitting those 4s is very important, because hitting the redupe with a Romeo and Juliet pair is just so much extra strength onto your board. Sky Castle gives your Prince and Princesses +4/+4. Not really that important. Like, it's nice and it does help your mid game out quite a bit, but there are other treasures that are honestly better in my opinion. But outside of these 2, there's nothing that's really like specific to this. So when you're looking for treasures, I would honestly just recommend that you just pick up, like, I don't know why these two aren't loading, but just pick up anything good, to be honest. Like, just go for generically good treasures. I don't know if I'd recommend things like Crystal Ball, though, because we're not going to be wanting to cast much spells, but like Coin of Charon's really solid, scales your units. Ambrosia, really solid. You can use that to upgrade a Prince Arthur so that he can start upgrading himself as well. Scales your board better. You could do Monkey's Paw if you're doing like Romeo and Juliet to get like bonus stats onto the board. Helm of the Ugly Gosling, if you can force that to trigger on Juliet, will carry the buffs over. Tree of Life, really solid because all your units will be scaled up. One honorable thing, or not honorable, one big thing I'd like to mention is the Slay package. A lot of these units do have slays, so things like Harvest Moon, which will allow Lancelot to trigger twice, for instance, are really solid. And then don't forget Bad Moon. You do have ways to give units slay with Riverwest Princess, so like keep an eye out for these because you can actually start to make the comp work a little bit better and have it just get a little bit better scaling because of these things. As for like 6 costs, so this is kind of why I was saying like don't worry too much about what's his name, Hercules, because these aren't super great. Like Ivory Owl at the end of the day is just a Prince Arthur. Magic Sword is solid on Juliet, but like it's just not that great in my opinion. Staff of the Old Toad is really nice once you hit like your double Romeos and once you're not looking for any more Romeos, you can pick up a Staff of the Old Toad just so that you can find those 4s a little bit better and try to scale in. But just at the end of the day, like they don't really have any constraints when building from treasures. So in-game boards, when it comes to character these kind of builds, honestly, it's just going to be upgraded Prince Arthurs with as many upgraded prince and princesses as possible. Once you hit your in-game board, you can honestly just walk away from the computer and let the game do the rest. Obviously, you'll still want to dig to find spells, hit other upgrades, look for treasures, but it's like, this doesn't need a lot of piloting once you've gotten all of it done. Upgraded Romeos, upgraded Juliets, really solid, but you're not going to be playing any specific kind of tech cards. This doesn't work good with Echo Wood. It doesn't really work good with many of the 6 costs in general, right? We don't care about Berestame, we don't care about Good Boy, our units are already scaled more than him. Shoulder Fairies can be solid if you can get, like, for instance, we talked about it, the evil one, what's her name? The evil princess, Princess White. If you can get her upgraded and scaling her as well, Shoulder Fairies can just be like a high valued unit that you're able to get kind of late into the game that can scale over with the rest of your stats, but the rest of these units really just don't do anything for you. Hercules being the only one that may, and again, by the time you get him, it's just way too late. If you can get him early through like True Love's Kiss or something, that's great. Obviously would be solid, but like finding him at level 6 is kind of shit. And that's honestly pretty much it. The last thing to keep in mind is there is a hero specific for this build, and it is Muri, the Lion King. He gives your prince and princesses +2/+2 for each prince and princess you've upgraded. So with him, you kind of want to just play the same game plan where you upgrade your prince and princesses, play them on the board. The only other end is that you will specifically go out of your way to trigger as many as possible. Not that big of a deal at the end of the day. You can play this comp on anyone. It doesn't have to be Muri, but it is honestly just a very simple comp to play. The hardest thing I find is people just don't know when to pivot into this comp. So keep in mind what I said about finding those upgrades and finding your Prince Arthurs, and then hopefully we can get you scaling in a lot like in the game you'll see coming after this. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to leave a like and a comment at the bottom, and then don't forget to follow. That way we know that what we're doing is actually helping some people, and we can make sure to keep doing things like this. If you have a specific comp that you'd like me to go over, make sure to let me know, and we'll see y'all next time, guys. Enjoy the video. Havila or pub? Let's do pop. Pop, I think it'll be good. I'm gonna buy this and roll. Okay, so next round I'm going to buy Fanny, upgrade, and then the next round I'm going to buy Mad Mim, and then whatever's left. I'm gonna be locking this two rounds in a row. Keep in mind, Mad Cat has a flying unit. Is a unit I wish I could play more. I need more units unlocked, or more heroes unlocked, because there's so many good heroes. I've spent a lot of time buying heroes that require like build around strategies, and now that I've been playing more, I wish I would have just picked up more generically good heroes. Okay, we can keep our buff. Oh, this is so good. Guess I could just pick this up, play this. Oh, and then I can lock next turn, buy both of these, and have Genie's Wish? This is good, this is fine. Returned? Nice, welcome back. We got second last game. The other dude had the perfect Puff Puff board, playing Trophy Hunter and 7 Puff Puffs, all scaled to like 40/40s. It was a sight to behold, for sure. I can pick up Spellweaver instead, but Spellweaver's not gonna scale in the same way this will. I'm definitely winning this round. Dude, this is so easy. I'm like the best StoryBook Brawl player alive. Also, I should definitely lock Doubly. Because Doubly should absolutely be in over Tiny, especially considering how this board is. So this will give Doubly +4/+4. This will give Doubly +6, so he'll be a 5-10, 5-11, 5-11 over a 12-8. We'll just get it from there. Oh, never mind. He'll also be getting another +4/+2. So 5-11. He'll be a 9-13. No, another +4/+2 on top of that, because I'm not counting the other support. So it'll be a 13 something. And I've got so much gold I can kind of afford to lock thanks to this. 13-15, okay. What do I want at this point? We could pick up Romeo's, but I don't feel like it's worth picking up Romeo's until I find Juliet's. It's not really the direction I'm trying to head into. Do Kidnap, maybe? This could be, this is really solid. We'll sell there. I really don't want to keep rolling, so maybe I just do this. Right? That seems fun. And I think I want my board set up to be like this. All right. Got a good start going here. Now I just have to decide my direction. We can either start hard digging to find Princess White for dwarves, or we can look to maybe do Prince and Princesses if this upgrades, and that's only a maybe, right? It's not even like a hard push. I think I will probably look for pairs, maybe look to get some treasures while I wait for a better direction rather than just picking up the first Princess White I see. I will probably pick up one, but I don't want to just hard go into like pick it up and then be like, all right, I'm immediately playing Dwarves, because I feel like my position is strong enough that I don't have to make this decision. This is just better than Mad Mim in this position. I didn't have to sell it now. I shouldn't have just sold it now. Could just pick up Cinderella, cast spell. Cinderella, cast spell. How do I feel about that? Fuck it. Empire Cat. I'm really putting myself in a good position for princesses, it feels like. If I could get both of these to trigger. This one may not trigger, but this one will eventually trigger, no matter what. It will trigger. Right? Because I can always just buy cheap spells. But this one comes down to chance. But with how early this is and the fact that we're still playing Pup, right? Pup should be able to make this work. Time skip could be relatively strong. Ah, that's devastating. Oh, it doesn't matter. Rip. All right. Dig. There's a Heartwood. We could just go into Treants. I'd have to sell two. Only one unit would actually have a meaningful buff over that. Might be worth it. This is a hard choice. It could be sell, right? And that would be fine. We would start buffing this. We could not start buffing this. I'm gonna dig, see if I can find anything else. We're committing. I don't give a fuck anymore, man. We're just gonna commit. I've got early enough stuff that I feel like I can make this work. The hardest part's going to be getting Brave Princess to trigger. But if I can slam the right stuff on her, I can honestly make it work, I think. Like, look at this. This is a guaranteed trigger. That's great. And then here, we have good hits for Nutcracker. Nutcracker should be able to at least eat 2 more hits here. You know? Well, 1 more. Okay. And then I can go ahead and we can cast this on her. Roll down. There's Princess P, Juliet. Yeah, no, this is great. This is fine. We're fucking set, dude. We can pick up Princess P. We could sell off these. Good hit. Perfect. Oh my god. Yeah, no, this is a perfect game for this. We're set. This is fucking literally just could not be any better. We're gonna go with Crystal Ball to start. And then I don't want to do Fool's Gold because spells are honestly really fucking great, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. Who cares? I'll cast my last spell now, right? We're gonna hit doubly with it because I can't really, you know, do any more after this. We'll take Runestones. We got another fucking Prince Arthur. That was what I was hoping for, so good shit, good shit. Sell this off, play the Prince Arthur, play the Romeo, sell this off, pick up the Juliet. Though it does make Ball. Like, it ruined Crystal Ball, but I don't feel like that matters too much. Okay. All we need now is to evolve Juliet, level Juliet, level Prince Arthur, or triple them. And then we're just coasting, because right now this is getting +4/+4 for all three of them. So we're getting really good stats every round. Good hit. Main part dies. Trades. Okay, we get Juliet. Go straight down. All right. Trade there or there? It would have been better to trade there because then Queen of Hearts would have swung in, but can't control that, obviously. Alright, so we've got a Lancelot now. That's good. I just need to find a way to be able to make Lancelot trigger without spells. That's actually hard. We've got the triple Juliet though, so. Could eventually do it with this. I might not be able to make him trigger. So maybe it's not worth it, right? Because this would be a 12/12 going into the next round. I don't think it's worth having him in there yet. We'll have to be able to make sure that he can hit Helm of the Ugly Gosling before I can work on that. We're about to fucking get rid of this poor kid's needle-nosed knife. Goodbye. All right. All right. Step in the right direction, I'll tell you what. Another Romeo, okay. Don't mind if I do. I'm actually gonna take Romeo out this round. This is a greed play, but what it does is it enables Lancelot to actually be flipped this round because he's the weakest person on my board. He'll get Pissane 15, he'll trigger his quest, and then we can play the two Romeos, or we can pick up the extra Prince Arthur and scale a little bit better. In fact, I'm actually going to lock this Prince Arthur. Because if we can flip another Prince Arthur, this is actually just going to be like a perfect poster child game for princes. Nice, perfect fireball target for us. Really, you got wombats from that. Oh, Mordred, you're holding on to wombats? I guess that makes kind of sense. I've seen wombats being played a lot more recently. I don't know. I don't feel like wombats is particularly that good, but other people seem to. Yeah, no, this game's perfect. Ambrosia? Over Fools, maybe? Or over Sky? We're gonna do Ambrosia over Sky Castle. End of Midas Arthur. Well, I mean, Ambrosia's kind of the same thing, so it's no different, right? But it's flexible. This game's literally free. Because the idea here is Ambrosia will like upgrade Prince Arthur for every round. Ambrosia should trigger first. So we're getting +8/+8 to everybody. And then if we triple him, right? What I could eventually do is I could say like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop Nutcracker or throw in another Prince Arthur. And then let the Ambrosia deal with that one, you know? But honestly, at this point, I'm scaling better than Puff Puffs. This is the god board for Prince and Princesses, I feel like. The only thing that would be better is like units with actual abilities and stuff. Like if there was like a Sherwood Princess in here or something, or I had more Romeos. But it's like the idea is once you can get to this point, it's very hard for this kind of board to lose. Nothing scales better than Puff Puffs. So Puff Puffs at most can only get +7/+7 around unless you're playing Trophy Hunter. Trophy Hunter's the exception, but I'm getting +8/+8 per turn. What are you talking about? I scale better than Puff Puffs. Also, Hercules? Trigger Hercules, smile. What the fuck, dude? It actually happened. Okay, I never trigger Hercules, so it's like I'm not putting him in, but it's like, come on, man. You can't say that this isn't like, this isn't disgusting at this point. Because this is +12/+12 to my board every turn. You can knight Puff Puffs? I guess, but like a game will never go long enough for you to knighthood all of your Puff Puffs. And I guess you could copycat to get even more triggers, but it's just, I don't know, man. I think this is pretty much as scaly as scaling gets, you know? Another Romeo. I don't even know what, like, I'm rolling for at this point. Naturally triple fucking Hercules? I guess I should just be picking up 6s, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, just picking up 6s would allow me to try to make pairs and go for, like, 6 costs. By the time I said that, I was already below 6 gold, so it doesn't make sense, obviously, but y'all get what I'm saying. Ow, just hit my knee. How do I lose? Cheese? I'm pretty sure Cheese could beat me. We could die off to like Poison Apple Tree comp with fucking Pumpkin, right? And Jormungandr, bullshit. Roll for Arthur's to replace Ambrosia, true. How would I beat Jormungandr? So let's imagine Mordred ends up hitting Jormungandr. How would I beat Jormungandr? I either need to hit Medusa's and get a lucky go because I need off of Fool's Gold actually, not Ambrosia. But I just need a way to kill his units before that would help trigger it to get it so big. Speak of the fucking devil, that's actually what this guy's trying to hit towards. Thank God he didn't. Okay, it's not the best hit, but that's a good one. Poison Apple Tree would be the answer to Jormungandr, I guess. Yeah, I need off of Fool's Gold so that I can find things like Pigmorph. It opens up more counterplay options for those kind of comps. It was good early though. It's what helped me get to this point. This was such a good game. This will be a great one for the next guide we'll do. I'll probably throw together a guide for doing Prince and Princesses as well after this, because it's like, this is a great example of how to get into it. Then we got really lucky, so it's like, on one end, it's like, it does kind of seem like it's a really good one for it, but it doesn't really show the idea of pivoting into it. I don't know. But these high rolly games are interesting to watch. Now the problem is, it's like, this is the boring part, you know? It's like, I'm done. I've high rolled my ass off and now I'm just sitting here waiting for the rest of the game to finish. Yeah, poor dude's got no chance. A Jormungandr, nice. I didn't even realize he had Mirror Mirror.